100 poets, one poem each. Number 11. The poem Wata no hara, yasoshima kakete, kogi idenu to hito ni wa tsuge yo ama no tsuribune. Out across the great sea plain, heading toward the countless islands, tell them I have set out. Tell the people I left behind, O fishing boat of the sea people. 31 syllables, the 11th poem in the anthology of 100. He did not want to go. He had no choice. The emperor had ordered it. The sea was waiting. The islands of his exile were waiting, and he was on a boat, heading away from everything he knew. He asked a fishing boat to carry his message, because he had nothing else to ask. The poet, his name was Ono no Takamura. In the 100 poets he is listed as Sangi Takamura. Sangi was his rank, counselor, the position he eventually rose to, but not yet. Not when this poem was written. When this poem was written, he was a man in disgrace, on a boat heading for exile. He was born in 802. He died in 853. 51 years. In those 51 years, he managed to be simultaneously one of the most brilliant men in Japan and one of the most troublesome. He was a scholar, a poet, a calligrapher, a man who could read Chinese classics at a level that awed the court, who could write Chinese poetry good enough that people compared him to Bai Juyi, the great Tang poet, whose work was the standard educated Heian people measured themselves against. He was also stubborn, proud, unwilling to accept what he considered unjust, and in a court that ran on the management of hierarchy and the performance of appropriate deference, a man who would not perform appropriate deference was a problem. The mission to Tang China. He was appointed as deputy ambassador to the Tang dynasty, not ambassador. Deputy, the second in command of the most prestigious diplomatic mission Japan sent to China. The first voyage failed. Storm and sea turned them back. The second voyage also failed. The third voyage was attempted. Before the third departure, the lead ambassador, Fujiwara no Tsunetsugu, ordered Takamura to change ships. The ship Takamura was assigned was the better ship. The ship Tsunetsugu was on had problems. He wanted to swap. Takamura refused. In the hierarchy of the Heian court, a deputy does not refuse the lead ambassador, whatever the reason, whatever the justice of the demand. You do not refuse. Takamura refused. He said the order was unjust. He said he would not change ships. He said it loudly. He said it in the form of a Chinese poem that criticized the entire institution of the embassy. The poem was read by the retired Emperor Saga, the retired emperor who had praised Takamura's scholarship and who now found himself the subject of pointed criticism, expressed in elegant Chinese verse. The retired emperor was not pleased. The exile. He was sentenced to exile on Oki Island, the remote island in the Sea of Japan, the island that was the traditional destination for people the court needed to remove from the capital. This is when the poem was written, on the boat, setting out, the capital behind him, the sea ahead, the islands of his exile, somewhere over the horizon. He called to the fishing boat, "Tell them I have left. Tell the people I left behind. Tell them I am out here, on the sea, going away." The fishing boat could not carry a message. He knew this. The boat was a boat. It had no words. It would go where it went, without knowing. It was being asked to carry anything, but he asked anyway, because asking was the only thing he could do, the only form available to him for saying what he needed to say to the people he was leaving. The poem's structure, Wata no hara, the great seaplain, the ocean as plain, the vast horizontal expanse, not a barrier, not a wall, a plain you cross, the way you cross any plain, slowly, with effort, not knowing exactly when you will arrive. Yasoshima, 80 islands, or many islands, the 80 not meant literally, the number that means more than you can count, more than you can see from here, an uncountable spread of islands, across an uncountable sea, kogi idenu to. I have set out rowing. The action is completed. He is already moving, already out from the shore, already past the point of turning back. The rowing has happened. The going is underway. Hito ni wa tsuge yo. Tell the people, not my family, not my friends, the people, everyone, anyone who might want to know, everyone I left behind, everyone who is not here, everyone who is still in the place. I am no longer in ama no tsuribune, the fishing boat of the sea people, the small boat, the ordinary boat, the boat that belongs to people who live on the sea, as a matter of course, not the imperial embassy ships, not the vessels of state, a fishing boat, the humblest carrier available, the one he asked anyway. The return. He was on Oki for 2 years. He wrote poems there about the life he was living, about pulling nets with fishermen, about how far this was from what he had expected of himself. Then he was pardoned. The pardon came. He returned to the capital. He was restored to his rank. He continued to rise. He became Sangi, the counselor whose name is how he is listed in the 100 Poets, the man who refused the lead ambassador, who wrote a satirical poem about imperial policy, who was exiled to a remote island, came back, and rose to the second tier of the court. The legend of hell. This is the part of Ono no Takamura's story that is unlike anything in the 100 Poets. In the legend, he did not only live in this world. At night, while his body slept, his spirit traveled to the underworld, to the realm of the dead, where he served as an official of hell, a judge, someone who helped determine what happened to the souls that arrived there. The tradition pointed to a well in Kyoto as the entrance, the well at Rakujoin, the place where his spirit descended each night and returned by morning. He was said to have known both worlds, the world of the living and the world of the dead, the court of the emperor and the court of the underworld. the man who served in the bureaucracy of Japan, also served in the bureaucracy of hell. Whether anyone believed this literally is impossible to know. The tradition believed it enough to keep telling it. The story of the official who worked 2 jobs, one in daylight, one in the dark. The story fits the man, a man who refused what he was supposed to accept, who said what he was supposed to leave unsaid, who ended up in places he was not supposed to be, an island in the sea, a court in the underworld, both equally real to him if the legend is to be believed. The fishing boat. He asked the fishing boat to carry his message. The boat could not. The message was carried anyway, by the poem, which traveled from the boat to the person who wrote it down, to the anthology that preserved it, to the 800 years of readers who have read it since. This is what the poem did, that the fishing boat could not. It carried the message across the sea, across the centuries, to everyone who has read it. Wata no hara, yasoshima kakete, kogi idenu to, hito ni wa tsuge yo, ama no tsuribune, out across the sea, toward the countless islands I have set out. Tell them. The fishing boat could not tell them. The poem did.